The Committee of the Whole is now called to order on this Tuesday, January 29th, 2008. Roll call, Madam Clerk. Thank you. Mayor Bell? Here. Vice Mayor Burgess? Here. Councilwoman Lobos? Here. Councilman McCormick? Here. Councilman Nelson? Here. Councilwoman Sierra? Here. Councilwoman Waldman? Here. Thank you very much. Item A, January 15, 2008 minutes, tab 1. I move. Second. They've been properly moved and seconded. Any comments or questions from council?
Yes, Madam Mayor, there are some errors that I found on page 4. On page 4, going down, it states, Councilwoman Waldman mentioned the company had a good reputation but expressed her concern for the inexpensive price of plants. It should be the expensive price of plants.
Okay.
And a little further down where it states, City Attorney Wise clarified the city accepted the service. All the way down to the last sentence, it says, the city also had the option to terminate the contact. It should read contract.
Is that it?
That is all that I found.
The motion stand is corrected. The minute stand is corrected. Any further comments from council?
No.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And the ayes carry. Thank you. Item B, Homestead Housing Assistance Plan Amendment Resolution, tab 2.
Mayor and Council, staff's recommendation that Council adopt the amendments to the city's housing assistance plan. And the need for these amendments came out of our award for Hurricane Phase 1, hurricane rehab monies that we had received. We had 2 awards. Phase 1 was just the southwest section, as you'll recall, I think, Mayor. And Phase 2 is the entire city. But in complying with that, we also needed to adjust or amend our housing assistance plan. Major areas would be lead-based paint, comments on that, and also to provide for demolition and temporary relocation and construction of new homes where required, and added to our plan so that we comply.
Thank you.
Mayor Bell, I'll move with a question, please.
Been properly moved?
I'll second.
And seconded. Yes, Councilwoman Waldman?
Thank you. I understand the process of how you choose the people, but I want to know who's responsible for monitoring. I know there's many rules in here as far as, you know, their ability to, you know, who's responsible for moving out the furniture and who's responsible for this, that, and the other. But I just want to know who's responsible for monitoring.
Okay, Lauren will.
All right, Councilwoman Waldman, it'll be our grant consultant, which is Fred Fox Enterprises.
Okay.
That's what we're paying them for.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions from council? All in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Thank you. Item C, life insurance renewal resolution. I'll entertain a motion.
I move.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any questions or comments from council?
I do have a statement.
And let's hear from the manager.
Okay. It's staff's recommendation that City Council approve the city's employees and retirement group life insurance coverage with MetLife Insurance Company for the year 2008. Previous to this, we got our life insurance usually through the same company that provided our health insurance. United Health was that company. They came back with a larger than satisfactory premium for the life insurance side of it. So we went back out and shopped the life insurance and came up with MetLife as the 12% less premium than what United Health was charging.
Thank you. Ms. Sierra?
Yes, it's 12% less of the premium we paid last year, not 12% less of the premium they came to us with this year. And one thing that I would really like to have on record is the fact that this is for insurance that is as comparable and in some cases better than what we were being provided last year. So for less money, we're getting more, and I think that's important to mention. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments?
No.
All in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Thank you. Item D, surcharge for county sewage treatment charge ordinance, tab 4. I'd like to have a motion on the floor.
I'll move it. I'll second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Mr. Manager?
Mayor and Council, this, it's our recommendation that we approve a change in our, in creating a section in our code under 28-14 for surcharge for county sewage treatment charge. At the current time, we handle the treatment. We send some to the county just to exercise the valves and everything. But in certain cases, emergencies, for example, last year we had a lightning strike that put us out for 3 days, where we had to send all our flow to the county. And our current contract with them is the first $2 million, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Julio, we pay a wholesale price, but then we go over that, we go into a retail price payment, which is extremely expensive. What we need to do, and we're working with the county to try to get wholesale all the way through, but it still could be expensive if our plant is shut down in an emergency. This is not something that happens every day kind of thing. It happens infrequently. But if you have the hurricane that shut down the plant, or as we did, we had a lightning strike that blew out the plant and it could not operate, then we would have a situation where extra monies that are really not budgeted would be incurred by the city. So the plan is to have a surcharge that in the event of an unusual scenario where we had an increased expense because we had to divert all our flow or a good portion of our flow, that we could disperse that charge as a surcharge to the sewer customers over a period of time and within their bill. Now, we would not do this until after we've exhausted all of the potential for collecting that money somewhere else, like insurance, FEMA, if it was a hurricane or something, some kind of thing like that. So, excuse me a minute. I think I need some help right now. But actually, this is to protect the city because just the short 3-day, Julio, correct me on the amount that we had on that one event that was extra that we would charge from the county because of the complete flow.
Well, for example, last year we had some peak events that cost the city in excess of $300,000. So that gives you an idea of where we're at.
And so what we're doing specifically is just actually creating just Section 2814, which is the ability to surcharge. And I want, yeah, because the way it's worded, I want to be careful that the residents don't think that we are creating a surcharge. We're creating the ability to impose a surcharge based on an emergency provision, and after all, basically after every other avenue is exhausted.
That's correct. If and after this is approved, you're not going to see this on your bill like monthly. What will happen, there will be an event and there will be an explanation of that. It's the protection of the city.
Mr. Shahada?
Mayor, council members, may I just add that this will come back for your approval every time we have to adjust it. And this works exactly like the way the bar cost adjustment works or the fuel cost adjustment works. Only if we have to pay an expense, it will pass through. There will be no additional charges or profit to the city of Homestead. It's just passed through expense. You do this to avoid any rate shocks, because if you have an issue like this and you want to practically be able to pay your bills, you have to go to the customers and raise their sewer rates, and we don't want to do that. We only just use this to only shave the peaks, and the rates will stay exactly the same.
Good, good. I think that's a good assurance to our citizens.
I also just would point out that in addition to our normal posting and advertising requirements, Chapter 180 of the Florida statutes requires special notice to customers through the billing process as to the time, place, and date when the hearing is going to be held for you to impose any charge.
Perfect.
So that people would have the ability to come down and provide you with their input on the increase.
Thank you, Mr. Weiss. Any comments or questions from council?
No, they've all been answered.
Thank you very much. All in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Thank you. Item E, Department of Corrections Work Squad Renewal Resolution, tab 5. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move it.
I'll second. It's been properly moved and seconded. Mr. Manager?
Mayor and Council, it's our recommendation that we renew the contract with the Department of Corrections for inmate labor. We have currently 2. We used to have 3 when they were able to provide them inmate labor teams. The money that is, which is $55,777, covers the cost of a correctional work squad officer who will supervise up to 5 inmates. And this is for the PD. Of course, it's a sole source, so we're not out RFPing this. But it's for March 08 till March 09, so 1-year contract. This is extremely good for us because we pay the one amount and we get 5 people out there working.
And share how this is funded, Mr. Ivey.
Well, this is funded actually through the PD outlet. I think we budget, general fund, we budget through there. I think where we make, we really do well here is that we get this amount of labor, 5 people for this amount of money, and they do their litter, they clean the station, they clean cars, they're out cleaning the streets as well, and any other jobs that we need them to do. If we need to move things from one office to another, they're there for a variety of jobs.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from council?
I'll move. Has it been moved? I'm sorry.
Yes, it's been moved.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can I make a comment?
Please, please.
I just want to say that they have just been invaluable to us, with all the grass that needs to be cut and code violations that, we need to go out there and just clean up areas. I mean, Chief, at the Senior Citizen Center, and always so polite. They are always very, very polite, and I don't know how you choose them. I don't know what kind of process you go through, but I've always been impressed, and they do so many things behind the scenes and save the city so many dollars, so thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Waldman.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor Bell, I have a question too.
Go ahead.
Just because I'm not too familiar with this program, how long has the City of Homestead had this program, and can you just talk a little bit about every year, like do you see it increasing, decreasing?
Well, we've said this is not an increase over last year, but we have seen an increase from previous years. We were in the 40,000 and change arena probably, 5 years ago? About 5 years ago. I don't know exactly how long we've been doing this, but I know I've been here for 20 years, and we've had inmates.
Always.
I mean, a little over 20. We've been having inmates since that time.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor say aye. Aye. The ayes carry and the motion carries. Item F, ABB 15 kV circuit breakers purchase resolution, tab 6. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move it.
I'll second. It's been properly moved and seconded. Mr. Manager?
Mayor and Council, it's our recommendation that City Council approve the purchase of these ABB circuit breakers from Westco Distribution Incorporated. We are piggybacking off another city's RFP for these. We are replacing breakers that are 30 years old and really they haven't gone bad yet, but they're on borrowed time. They're way over their life expectancy. So we need to replace these breakers, and at the same time we want to standardize our breakers where we don't have different products from different companies over the years, then having to find the parts and working on them and those kinds of things. So we're standardizing with the ABB breakers, which were selected by the staff at the utility the utility company. This is the first of a 3-year plan to replace 5 breakers over at the Ivy plant substation.
Thank you. Did you have anything else, Mr. Manager?
No, that
Okay. Any comments or questions from council? All in favor say aye. Aye. And the ayes carry. Thank you. Item G, Western Union Utility Payment Collection Agreement, tab 7. I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll move it, Mayor.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Mr. Manager?
Mayor and Council, this is a recommendation from the staff that City Council authorize the city manager to sign an agreement with Western Union for the purpose of providing collection services for city utility payments. Now, let me say the purpose of this is to improve efficiencies at the collections area. I don't know if I get an amen on this, but I don't know how many people have ever had difficulty in dealing with customer service.
Amen.
I'm sure I'll get a couple more amen. And we've been working on this really, and it's a matter of volume of people that come in and pay at the site, either through the drive-through or walk-ins within the customer service building. And the numbers are overwhelming for the number of people we have working there. And we have two options to improve that. I say two major options. I imagine if we thought harder, we'd come up with a third or so. But two major options. One, we throw more people at it, so we have more people handling more customers and get them through there more quickly. Maybe improve our area there with the drive-through, so we can handle more customers that way. However, that's more expensive, and with the tax burdens that we're facing and the unknowns we're facing in the tax scenario, I have been reluctant. They have asked a number of times for more people. I have refused to give more people to that operation. I think we need to do things differently, smarter. Western Union will have 24 payment locations where people can go within Homestead and Florida City area, where they can go and pay their electric bills. We also have the check cashing store at Chrome Avenue and 4th Street. We have a number of ways you can pay through the internet. You can call up and do the check by the phone, and there's a number of ways, but we still get a quantity. Probably it averages about 11,000 a month of people coming in and paying, and it's just overwhelming to how we're staffed. Now, we have a population that finds a need to come in and wait in line for a long period of time rather than we have the lock boxes at the bank. You could go to the bank and pay. But we have a large number of customers that come in and wait in line to make that payment. And part of this is going to be an educational process, because the only way it's going to work with Western Union will be to stop taking payments eventually at that location where there is no other place where you can actually go and pay except these locations. Now, people, it's going to take a period. We're suggesting 6 months of a period where we use Western Union, make it available, but we advertise, we market, we tell people who are there, we put the signs up when they drive through the window to make their payments. Now remember, this is bill collection, it's not customer service. What we're doing there is collecting bills. We're not really, if you have a customer service question, for the most part, you're sent inside the building for customer service. So when we talk about this is bill paying. But what we can do, if we readjust how we collect that money, we can use the people that are there to move over to customer service and give us more people to answer the phones, return calls, and to deal with people in the lobbies, which get pretty full at times, to deal with customer problems. In here in your green sheet, if you go there to Western Union, it says $1 charge per transaction. We had looked at this earlier. Western Union wanted a minimum of 2,500 transactions on this contract. And to say only 1,000 went there, the city would be responsible for the other 1,500. They want to guarantee 2,500.
No, I'm fine.
They are offering to do the first 3 months for free. As we try to educate people and get them to use these facilities. The dollar, there is a second alternative that they gave us, that if the city wanted to pay these transaction fees as opposed to the person coming in, it would be 60 cents a transaction to the city. So when we present this option, I mean, we put one here, but there is a second option that's available if you're so inclined. I'm trying to think of any other things that I've mentioned here. The 25, this is a 3-year contract with 1-year renewals. We are looking in the contract itself, and Councilwoman Sierra brought this up, did not see like termination time earlier than the 3 years. In conversations, Mark recalls that there was the ability to do this. However, it did not end up in their standard contract, so we're going to go back and ask them to put that in there, or say, 30 days notice if within the 3 years something isn't working, something like that. So that's kind of the...
Kurt, question. How much would you estimate that it takes for how much does it cost for each customer that comes in and costs us in time? A couple dollars a customer?
Well, probably at least that much, usually on an average, because some people come up to the window, they don't have their bill. They ask, could you locate my bill? So then they have to go in to the computer to get their bill. Then sometimes there's a conversation of what that total is. We, in talking with General Services, it was probably about 5 minutes, they say they average. I think the clerks made an average of 14. Mark, if you want to pick up on that, I think you worked that out.
Bill, what we found out is approximately a 5-minute average to make a payment, and that's spread over approximately 9,000 to 10,000 customer contacts a month. That's what. And I'd also like to add there's another issue to this, and that is the relocation of customer service. Customer service is on the property that City Hall is on. When this property goes up for sale, we're going to have to find another location for customer service. By not having to address a drive-through and the numbers of people we're dealing with to make payments, it becomes logistically easier to relocate customer service somewhere else and less expensive as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Cooper-Smith. I've been thinking, go ahead, Kurt.
I just want to add something. If you come in to open an account, or you come in and you had a question and you think there's a mistake and they discuss it, we're not going to send you to another location to pay your bill. You can, if it's clarified and everybody's satisfied, or you're going to make the payment, they'll go ahead and collect the payment there. It's just the windows and the cars and the line you see all the time there that we're trying to eliminate. And I didn't mention it, but Mark brought up a very good point. I don't know where we'll put a window to have the stacking that it requires for the vehicles, where we're going to find property to do that. I mean, we will if we have to, but that's going to be a real challenge to find a property where you stack them for the window drive-through. Recreate that.
I'd like to, I'm going to call Mr. Burgess first, and then Ms. Lobos, and then Ms. Waldman.
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to hear some feedback from council, but I've been thinking about this since we've met about customer service. If it costs the city, let's say on an average, it costs the city $2 to accommodate each customer, then wouldn't it be advantageous for the city to go ahead and prepay the 60 cents per customer and guarantee that to Western Union rather than ask them to pay the dollar? We're still a net gain of about, let's just say it's $2 per customer for 5 minutes, then we're still a net gain, $1.40 per customer, and then we've not told the customer, who basically tends to be the poorer customer, that is obviously walking in or coming in to pay. And there's the one really good thing about this is there are Western Union sites all over the city. Winn-Dixie's are Western Union sites, convenience stores, on and on and on. But if we absorb that 60 cents, and I'm sure it's, doesn't make you happy to hear me say that, but I'm thinking that it makes a lot of sense. In my mind, it makes sense for us to pay the 60 cents and instead of passing that dollar off to the customer, because we're trying to move that customer out of customer service so that we can take care of those customers who have real issues, who want to have terminations or property turned on, or really have real issues. So I think that it would behoove us, but I'd like to hear back from council. Also, when we talked, we have the ability to have online payment now. I know that every time you use a credit card, there's a fee associated to a credit card, 2%, 3%, depending on that credit card. That's more than 60 cents. So if we're encouraging them to pay online to keep them out of there, well, it's really no different, except for you have a clientele that really needs a break as much as the person online. Also, as we move into this new technological generation, we've got to be more friendly, internet friendly, to getting power and services turned on and off through the internet, where you can give a person a PIN number. Let's say if they even are a person who owns rental properties and they want that turned on, they shouldn't have to come in and give a deposit. They literally should be able to go online and pay their a fee right online. And if they have a special PIN number that they've already set up themselves through the computer, this would save so much time. So there's some things that we really need to work on to bring us into that age. And you shouldn't have to be driving into this city, into this place, if you don't want to.
Right. I will add, this is the first of a number of initiatives that are coming forward in regards to.
Well, thank you. And Mr. Burgess, you were first.
Well, I just wanted, education is going to be our biggest thing, as we spoke about this morning when I was meeting with staff. And I just want to make sure, that all bases are covered, because we've got, well, one, so many languages that we need to cover down here. So that, when they come through the drive-through, if we're going to give them mail-outs or whatever, we just need to make sure that all our bases are covered and that we educate them to the best of our ability that we can, because I think that's going to be our biggest thing, is showing them that they can go to Western Union and do it without, the money getting lost and then their power being turned off. So I think, the education and the results are the biggest thing. And then I was just, I'm wondering, 6 months, with 11,000 people coming in there every month, 20,000 people I was told in December, and that's an extreme. But I'm just wondering if we can get that many people educated to switch that quick. I mean, I would hope so, but, as many people as I see showing up, we may need to alter that number a little bit. I know that the sooner we do it, the better it is for the city, and really for the customer too, because hopefully they can go to 24 places instead of 1, and they can pay on a lot faster thing. But I just want to make sure that when we look at this, that we don't just say 6 months, and regardless of where we are after a couple months, we end at 6 months and people are still trying to figure out what to do here as they come back to pay their bill, and then, some people may inadvertently not pay and get shut off. So I just want to make sure that we monitor that throughout the process if we do this, and make sure that the 6 months looks like it's going to be a good number and not going to put some people out, and then we have unfortunate situations. So those are my 2 things, just to make sure that we have a good education system, and that we keep benchmarks as we go through and see where our numbers are going from 11,000 average, if we progressively go down, but then we get to 2,000 and we don't get those people to do it. What do we need to do to get those past, after that 6-month mark? So we certainly don't want 2,000 people showing up over here and not being able to pay, or still, as we've moved clerks over to other positions, having these people not, be able to do it as fast as they should be able to. So that was all. Those were my 2 concerns that I had.
Thank you, John. Councilwoman Lobos?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Bell. Just to add to what Vice Mayor Burgess said, I think the staff understands that this is going to be on us to make this successful. The education part I also agree with, and we talked about the inserts being in 3 languages, making sure that we do cover the entire population that we are looking to target. As far as $1, I have been against charging $1 from the very beginning. I feel that it is on us to incur that 60 cents because we are coming from a customer service initiative. So it is part of our program to increase the quality of customer service. So it's an investment on our part. And you know what? One of the things as a consumer that I hate to feel like a company is nickel and diming me. When Community Bank decided to charge 25 cents for every deposit slip that you asked for. I mean, it wasn't going to break me, but it's just the concept that you're charging me to give you the money. So from that perspective, I really am against the $1 for the consumer. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Hear, hear.
I didn't know I was being charged every time I asked for one. So, well, thank you, Mayor Bill. Mark, when did we start this? In 2002? In 2002, I remember we had a meeting, and I did some research at that time with FP&L, and that was when they shut their walk-ups, where you could go and pay the bill. I know they had one in Cutler Ridge, and I think they had one in Homestead somewhere as well. And I think the statistics back then were several millions of dollars that they saved just in a small region. And then we had an internal auditor do an audit on the customer service. And when was that, Mark? In 2003, maybe? Anyway, they suggested in their audit as well that we go to this system. But it's like anything. It's hard to change something, once it's in place. I think city government is such a wonderful thing because people feel like they have a place to come. They have City Hall. They have that. But I think the transition period, I know Florida Pond Light, they did the transition period in 3 months. I think we're being very generous, Mayor Bill, and I agree with you that 6 months is a good time. And I agree with all of you about the 60 cents. I think that is something that we do need to take the burden on. But I'm going to tell you something. I get more complaints about customer service, and Mark and I have talked about this over and over and over, and I think this will help. Just Friday, I was on the phone with someone in HR, and I'm going to brag on her, Priscilla. We were talking about something completely different, and I get a knock on my door from a lady whose water had been turned off, I guess accidentally. That was Friday afternoon.
I got the call.
You got a call? And she's at my door now, and Priscilla was able to get her phone number, get her water turned back on. Everything was done. It was like 4:15, something like that. And then just last night, I was having dinner with somebody, and the whole time we had dinner, there was somebody that just moved into the area that she worked with. He moved in on Friday afternoon, had a closing Friday afternoon, and he couldn't get his power turned on until today, for whatever reason. And he had to go down there on Monday, and then it was today. So it's just, there's always problems, and I just think that our staff in customer service is so stressed out and so strapped with time that this will enable them to handle the people that have the just the normal problems, instead of just going there and paying. So anyway, I'm thrilled with this. I think it's wonderful, and I think that our city will do the best that it can to make the transition as easy as possible for all people. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Waldman. One moment. You've received your directions that we're going to go ahead and so the motion stands at 60 cents. That's going to be absorbed by the city.
That's correct.
Okay, that's corrected. Okay.
Mayor Bill?
Yes.
Before we vote, for the record, I want to make sure that we do have the out clause, whether it's 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days is irrelevant, but I need to make sure that there is some type of an out clause, just in case it doesn't function for us and we need to move in a different way. We're not tied into a 3-year contract.
We'll make that change before next council.
Thank you.
Mr. Powell, if you have a comment, would you please take the mic or go to the dais, please?
Mayor Bell, I do have one other comment to follow up, just on what Vice Mayor Burgess said. I would like for staff, is it appropriate to ask that on a monthly basis you've been given some kind of update, not wait till the 6-month period is over? Is that appropriate?
Yes, we can do that. We want to know it for ourselves as well. And we'll be tracking that.
Share the information.
Oh, sure.
Mr. Powell.
Address 2274 Southeast 27th Drive, Ed Powell. I just had a thought with Western Union. Could you pay with a credit card? And if you did, would they charge for that fee? Would they pass that on to the customer? Would they absorb it?
They wouldn't absorb.
They wouldn't absorb it.
They wouldn't absorb the credit card.
No,
fee.
the credit card transaction, just as any other credit card transaction. Western Union simply acts as a collection point for the payment.
Right. So the merchant fee would be charged to the city.
Mark, when they collect, how long do they take before they transfer the funds to us? Is it a day, 2 days?
They let us know on the first business day, and then actually they're going to try to do it, let us know twice a day, and then they're going to provide 2 interim uploads at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock Mountain Time, and then at the greatest, by the close of the second business day, the funds have to come to us. Thank you.
Thank you. No further comments or questions, I hope? All in favor, say aye. The ayes carry. Thank you. Good, very good discussion. Finance Committee, Councilwoman Lobos.
Thank you, Mayor Bell. The first item is item A, unit pricing for electrical underground task. Mr. Ivey?
Yes, Councilwoman Lobos, Mayor and Council. The Evaluation Committee, actually, let me start, we put out an RFP to our bids, rather, not RFP, bids to put in place pricing for various tasks that are normally needed to complete a project, standard tasks, so that we would be, I guess, reduce the amount of time we need to, if we need to pull cable, if we need conduit, we need risers. We already have set in the bid specific prices for those. Mastech of North America was the low bidder and would be the first company that would be contacted. And we have Cable Wizard and Enterprise Electrical Contracting in that order, which we would, if we didn't do it with Mastech for some reason, we'd go to the next, or if it was more than they could handle, go right down.
I'll move approval, Ms. Lopez.
Can I have a second?
Yes, with questions.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, I forgot to move it and second it. Mr. Ivey, do you have anything else?
This would be as needed on the pricing that we have would be as needed. There's a performance bond required, a bid bond required for our protection in terms of they pull out something like that without in the middle of a job or something of that nature.
Okay,
so that's been incorporated.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Burgess?
Just looking at the prices of things, this kind of goes back to like we had the discussion with the landscaping business when they came in and did their thing. How, just for staff, for me or whoever, how can there be such a disparity in prices with $200 versus $1,500 for the same item that's being sold to the city? And do we think that they can really hold to the $200 when they come in and give us that price?
We don't know, but we do have a number of items built in. And Brian, if you want to chime in on this, because we talked about this, and there's a number of guarantees, and the statement was they have to meet their bid.
I will say we've dealt with Mastech before as well.
Yeah, I've seen around the city, but yeah, I just see there's large variations in the prices for one guy's $3,150 and they want to give it to us for $200, so I'm just a little worried about.
I understand, yeah, we saw that. Yeah. Brian, you want to
address some of your questions in regards to that? We do have provisions in our agreement, contract that we put out for solicitation, which holds them for a bid guarantee, also a performance bond. We also have a clause in here for mistakes. If they basically went through and, for whatever reason, they had mistake pricing, that's on them. We have cancellation. You can easily terminate them for this as well. Termination for cause, default, or convenience as well. Non-conformance of conditions. Those are pretty much what the strongholds that we have on the agreement. Plus, like I said, the performance bond holds them. We can pull that bond if they basically choose, but they're not going to walk away from us to make up the difference if we need to for the contracted price. The reason why the price difference is, I really couldn't tell you. I mean, I can only speculate if, they're not using subs in-house. From there, the other contractors are using subcontractors. Obviously, there's going to be a carrying cost when it comes to that kind of administration if they're doing it in-house with themselves. That's just my opinion from there, but I really couldn't speak for Mastech at the moment.
Well, Vice Mayor Burgess, I think you brought up a good point that has kind of been on the council's mind since we started, is this idea that someone bids at a low price and then comes back with change orders, which significantly changes the amount of money that we were looking to spend on that. And so at the last council meeting and prior committee of the whole meeting, we've also stated that that's something we're going to keep a close eye on. Change orders is something that we're going to focus on, and so we'll go with the fact that this bid came in at this price and that we're looking for this contract to be fulfilled at this price. Okay, can I have a vote? I'm sorry, go ahead, Mayor Bell.
I want to comment that there are also protections built in because there are 3 winning bidders. So if Mastech fails to be able to provide, then it falls to Cable Wizard as a secondary. And if Cable Wizard as a secondary can't provide, then you have Enterprise Electrical Contracting. So basically, it's basically a fail-safe in 3 layers, plus all the built-in protections that Brian spoke of as well. So it really is a win-win for the city of Homestead because we have 1, 2, and 3 layers of protections built in. On top of those protections, we have the contractual provisions that are built in to protect the city of Homestead. So I'm not going to argue when somebody is lower, I'm just going to argue when they're higher unless they come back higher later. So, but Ms. Lobush, you're correct. We will keep an eye on it.
Thank you, Mayor Bell. We do have a note here that has been passed by Procurement Director Brian O'Connor that Mr. George Clark would like to make a comment. Are you Mr. Clark? Okay, go ahead, approach the podium, state your name and address, please.
Hi, my name is George Clark, and I'm the owner of Cable Wizard, and I've been in the underground business for over 10 years. I've done work all over Dade County, Broward. I've done several jobs down here in Homestead for the city and for developers out here. And the reason why I'm here is I'm glad you guys have realized this, that there's such a big difference in price from one contractor to the other four. And basically all I wanted to say was in other bids, in other counties, it has been a strategic of this company to do this. And then what they do is very simple. They get a hold of the tabulation. They already know what the next lowest bidder is. It is to the convenience of the city to spend as less money as possible. So in an item where they say, like for instance, in item number 2, where they say that they'll do it for $200, and the next lowest bidder is $990, they'll tell you, well, you know, we made a slight mistake here. We didn't realize that in the bid package, it specified that we had to include this or do that, etc.
Excuse me. I want to say I really think that this is inappropriate. You are part of the winning bid here as a secondary. I really do think it's inappropriate that as part of the winning bid that you're up here protesting against number 1 when you're number 2. We have just discussed about the built-in provisions and the protections as well as the 3 layers. There is no way that anything is going to happen like what you're saying with these provisions built in, especially with the performance bond built in. We're not going to allow that. I really have to tell you, I do think it's inappropriate that you come here as a winning bidder to protest against number 1 when you're number 2.
I'm not the winning bidder. I'm one of the considered bidders.
Yes, yes.
And I just basically wanted to make it aware to the council members. That's all.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mayor Bell, Mr. Clark, I also was going to say that we, as you can see, the council is aware of it. This is not the only bid that has come in like this. We have a staff that we, I think, entrust to keep on top of these things. They will let us know if there's any problems, but we appreciate your comment. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Can I make one more comment? Also, please keep in mind that, as Mayor Bell said, that this is also on a per-project basis as well. For example, if for whatever reason Mastech is being utilized on a project, and Ken can also reaffirm this, but if Mastech is being used on a project and they're not able to actually do another project that is needed, we would go to the second one so that we don't have a holdup in construction for that project as well. So we can continue to provide services in an expedient manner as well.
Okay, thank you. Can I have a vote? All in favor? Aye. And it has passed. Thank you. Now we move to item B, which is tab number 9, Rodriguez and Quiroga proposal for enhanced building commissioning services required for LEED certification.
I will move that.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second. Mr. Ivey?
Councilwoman Lobos, Mayor and Council, this is related to the building of our City Hall and the fact that we want to apply green, if I can say, technologies into the building that will be one of the few, if not the only, public building I know of in Dade County that will have a LEED certification. As we know, green initiatives are really beginning to pick up speed and people are really getting behind that. I think we need to do the same thing where we're building a new building especially. This particular company will be commissioned by Rodriguez and Quiroga to do the LEED certification and the necessary paperwork that they need to do, and it's pretty extensive. And what they need to do to qualify our building for a silver certification at the end of the day. So Spinnaker is the group that's being subcontractor recommended by Rodriguez and Quiroga. So we're recommending that we move with their suggestion as our architects and make this part of our consideration when constructing our new City Hall.
Thank you, Mr. Ivey. And if I can just add to that, I had some questions about the available balance. Since this is for the new City Hall, I wanted to know, is this for the entire budget? And I was explained by Deputy City Manager Mike Shahada that the available balance that we see here are projection of costs for pre-construction items, such as the studies, the engineering studies, architectural matters. So all of the things that we see before us now are all part of the budgeted items for pre-construction of the new City Hall. It is not a secret. It's been said that the new City Hall will be funded from the sale of this land on top of the Park of Commerce, and so we're still in line to do that. All of these are just pre-construction costs. Are there any questions? Comments?
One comment.
Yes, Councilwoman Sierra?
My question was, what did LEED stand for? And took a little bit of running around, but we did discover it's Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design. I thought that was important to understand what the LEED certificate is all about.
Thank you, Councilwoman Sierra. Okay, Mayor Bell. Mr. Shahana, hold on one second. Mayor Bell has a comment first.
Go ahead. I was going to say, when people ask, what does that mean? It's when you go to the restroom and you put your hands in the faucets, automatically turn on, they automatically turn off. You have conservation methods throughout the entire building. Maybe you walk in the one room, the lights come on. You have automatic cooling and the thermostats. There's so many different provisions of LEED certifications. And basically, it's a little bit more expensive on the onset, but it pays for itself. I think we calculated in about 7 years. It pays for itself because it is more costly, but at the end of the day, it makes sense. The conservation, it just makes good sense. Thank you.
Mr. Shahada.
Madam Chair, council members, I just want to recognize one of our architects there, Ivan Pebas. I don't know if you saw a write-up in the Miami Herald 2 weeks ago in the neighbors. Actually, I'm sorry, on Business Monday about some top architectural firms in Miami-Dade County, and their firm was one of the firms featured. Actually, the picture of the partners were on the front page. And also, I want to thank Cherie and Joanna for spearheading this project for us.
Thank you, Mr. Shahada. Are there any further comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. And it moves. Okay, we're going to tab 10, item C, EAS, boy, all these acronyms. Engineering Incorporation Lake Excavation south of Southwest 344th Street. Our info, go ahead, Mr. Ivy. I'm sorry, can I get a move?
I'll move it.
Second. Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been appropriately moved and second. Mr. Ivy?
Councilwoman Lobos, Mayor and Council, it's my recommendation that we approve or execute this supplemental proposal, which is an amendment to the original contract. When you talk. I know what it is.
Is your BlackBerry on?
Yeah, brush my teeth.
It's the BlackBerry.
No, I haven't gotten any. But anyway, as you know, that EAS has been doing our environmental engineering for a number of years and a variety of projects. This is specifically related to our excavation issues at the lake and maintaining our consent decree with the county, Durham, salt intrusion, well monitoring, the remediation plan, and the continuing saga that we have with our fill pit out there. We have, this is probably the fifth supplement. We run out of money. I need to replenish that account, and I wanted to bring it back to council rather than just doing that. I know we're going to do this, and these will be claims for damages that we'll have in our lawsuit that we're tracking.
Thank you, Mr. Ivy. Yes, I was going to add that these expenses will be added to our intent to recover from the Redland Company as part of the ongoing legal matters. And to also say that part of this $175,000, $70,000 of this are invoices that are already due from the city. So not all of it is for future invoicing. Are there any questions or comments? Mayor Bell?
The last supplemental agreement we had for Ed Swaycon, this is EAS's Ed Swaycon Engineering Services, and this is such, this is so absurd, but the last one was for $85,000, and the costs seem to be very, very high, And I understand these are very complex tasks, and especially when we're dealing with these types of issues, such as the possibility, let's not say saltwater intrusion, but the possibility, and the monitoring, the salinity wells, and on and on and on, brought on by the over-digging of the Reverend Company, which I'm sure everybody knows is never-ending saga. It's actually going on more than 2 years now. And when are we going to see an end to these supplementals? Because this is number 5. The last one was $85,000. I mean, it's just really getting a little absurd.
It's a continuing scenario. I can't tell you exactly when it will end. Probably when the case is settled, we'll get some kind of closure with this caveat. I'm sure there will be, Durham is going to require monitoring in perpetuity for some period of time, maybe perpetuity, monitoring the lake. We'll deal with that when that time comes about how long that should be, and we'll try to negotiate with Durham on that. But the key is that we need to recover our damages, and we're keeping the records. And one of the difficult issues in determining our damages is that in the event the county tells us that we have to backfill that lake to a certain level, the original level, that's a lot of money. That is contingent upon salt intrusion readings in the monitoring well area. I will tell you those salt readings have not been good so far, and there seems to be some kind of unusual event. Of course, this is Homestead, so nothing straightforward or standard. So it's an unusual scenario there with the salt front that no one, even Durham, can explain. And what we have requested is an extension on our plan because we wanted to see one complete hydrological period of time, almost a year, to come through, because we don't know what may be causing those readings. No one knows what may be causing those readings. We don't know if it's blasting further south, upsetting stuff. We don't know if the front was never properly located with Durham and where everyone thought it was originally at. We get readings that are higher in wells that are closer to the lake than further away from the lake, and that hasn't been explained yet. So we're trying to get that whole one period of a hydrological study to see if we can make sense of what's happening. But at the end of the day, there is a danger, that's the way I refer to it, of having to backfill that lake, which is very expensive. It's going to be expensive. And because that hasn't been determined yet, we can't tell what our damages are. And we always have to have somebody. We've had to drill a number of wells at the request of Durham, and writing the plan at the request of Durham to have our environmental experts, plus they also subcontract with certain particular hydrologists that we use to help our case.
Have our damages topped $1 million yet?
I think we're right there, yeah. I do believe that.
I think it's important for the community to know that.
Thank you, Mr. Ivey. I would also like to add, one of my questions was who initiates these consulting fees? Like, is it something that they recommend we have? And as Mr. Shahana explained to me, Durham or South Florida Water Management District will require us to have a study. We then contact the engineering company, and that's how we incur all these consulting fees. So these are initiated by demands of these agencies or organizations, and that's important to understand too. It's kind of out of our control right now.
And you know, separately, there's a separate account with the engineering firm that controls our mitigation that we're required to do on our land down there. So gracious, plenty of things going on in that area.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Thank you. And that is it for the Finance Committee. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Lobos. Committee reports. Mr. Nelson. Council report. Mr. Nelson, you have anything for us?
This week I attended my first ribbon cutting ceremony at Sinorama. It was very nice, a lot of nice people. We had a good time, and then we went to the Rodeo Association dinner. And Had a great time. The parade was phenomenal. We all, me and Judy was right in front of us, and we got to hand out candy to a lot of people. There was a lot of people at this parade. And I had a great time, and I just want to thank everybody.
Thank you. And welcome to this council. I know you're going to be a wonderful addition. Thank you. Ms. Sierra?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor. This weekend was a remarkable weekend when 4 of your council men and women were able to go up to Gainesville for training that has absolutely opened up my eyes in ways that I didn't realize. The potential that your council has to really make a difference in your city. I guess that's why I had so many more questions on the agenda this time, because I realized the things that I need to look for to be the eyes and ears of the citizens, and I think that's the most important thing that I got out of this weekend. As far as education is concerned, I met with Board Director Evelyn Greer, moving forward with Education Committee. Hopefully on Monday we'll have committee members assigned, and we'll be able to move forward into doing very wonderful things for the city with education. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure staff is thrilled that they went to the Institute. I went about 3 years ago, and it's fantastic. It's the Institute for Municipal Elected Officials. Mr. Burgess?
Well, I was up there and learned some things also, but while we were there, and I was given this another heavy notebook to carry around, some of my council members and I thought about with green being the thing, and everybody having computers, if there's a possibility that we may be able to start some actions up here by eliminating these books. And since the agendas are online, if we can start using those and eliminate, every little step helps. So we were just talking about that and throwing it around, and just wanted to put that out there and see if it is a feasible idea for council and staff, what we would have to do to make it, I guess, it wouldn't even have to be wireless in here, because once it's downloaded, you've got it. But moving towards that idea where we can use our computers and stuff instead of the books and that idea. And I missed the rodeo, unfortunately, but I don't have much else to report other than it was a great weekend, and it was an eye-opening experience, and I too learned a lot, and hopefully I won't bother too much staff with what I think I learned anyway. So thank you.
Thank you. Douglas?
Yes, to add to that, I also got a lot from the training, and one of the handouts that they gave, they put this thing here, what gets measured gets done. And they're talking about the effectiveness of a city budget. And since we know that numbers are not just for the sake of numbers, they're tools for the managers to be able to make decisions, one of the things that the Finance Committee has been looking at are the ways the summary gets put forth, and you know how we have a line item that tells us what account number is coming from and the budget impact. And one of my observations was that, I don't know if the other council people, Mayor Bell and Councilwoman Waldman, know what those account numbers are, but we definitely don't. So rather than getting it by account number, we would like to see the account name, so that when something comes up under forfeitures, we will not question it, because we understand how forfeiture money is to be used, as well as having budget impact more relating to the item that we're talking about, to be able to make good decisions, whether this is something that was planned for, or this is something that's not planned for within our budget. I know just on the plane back that I had so many questions for the city manager and the deputy city manager, but I'm going to be slow about it. I'll release about 5 questions a week, and that way I will not overwhelm anybody. But it's not too micromanaged. I think that what you see are 4 council people that attended that are very excited. I think it's good that we were trained to do the job that we were elected to do. I can't believe that it's not mandatory. I mean, you should know what kind of government you're governing. So therefore, I think that if I can just apologize ahead of time, it's not micromanaging, it's just our excitement to wanting to get things done. Thank you.
Mr. McCormick?
Yes, I'm just happy to be back.
Small plane.
I'm terrified of a small plane. The best part of the trip was when I was landing. So when I touched ground, I was happy there, and I'm happy back when I got back. But it was very educational, especially for me being new and the rest of the council members.
we did learn a lot, especially asking for specifics as far as reports. So when, like Wendy said, we come to you, it's not micromanaging, just we ask for specific, not so we understand what has to be done and where it comes from and where is it going. Other than that, it was very educational. I enjoyed myself, and I got to know Councilwoman Lobos a lot better, Councilwoman Sierra a lot better, and also Vice Mayor John Burgess. So I really enjoyed the trip. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
You kind of, sort of enjoyed.
Yeah.
Ms. Waldman.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations to Mr. Nelson. And I want to thank him because he actually carried my candy for me at the parade because I didn't have a car. I'm standing here like a little bag lady with my bags of candy, and they didn't bring the car until like 30 seconds before the parade started, and Tim was just great. He picked up my candy and helped me get in the car, and I really appreciate that. I just want to say that the area where the school site's going to be on 162nd and South Canal, I want to thank you because tonight they were watering that down. The dust is horrendous. It has messed up the system in the pool at the clubhouse. I mean, I just went over to vote, and my shoes look like just in the grass with the clubhouse, my shoes were completely brown, and I have on black shoes. But the dust is unbelievable. So that watering that we're now doing still isn't doing the trick. So I would suggest that we maybe look into that. I mean, it was bad, really bad. It's just there's a fog all over where it's just in the air. Also, because everything's on Saturday, I just want to remind everybody of the Trailway Ride, the 17-mile, 24-mile, or 42-mile Trailway Ride this coming Saturday. The chili cook-off, which, Mayor, I guess you're going to tell us when we're cooking, is Saturday as well. And also the Mardi Gras is Saturday night at 6 o'clock. So I encourage all of you to attend if you can. I know it's going to be hard for all of us to be everywhere, but anyway, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Waldman. Thank you. I took my seat on the MPO this past week, and I went to my first MPO meeting, and I realized, and I guess in my excitement, Patty went ahead and reserved a room for me for the MPO Training Institute in April in Tampa, and I found out that they only send one person per MPO, and so they nominated me to go. So I'm going to the training, and actually was amusing as they put my name forth for the training. They all started laughing, and they said that it's horrible training, and I said, you all laugh, but I want to go. I'm looking forward to this training, to be in the Metropolitan Planning Organization training, so I'm very excited about that, and I think it's going to be really good. There's been a lot going on in the city of Homestead. We all mentioned Rodeo Weekend, and as you guys were aware, there's just something going on every day. Thank Miami-Dade College for a wonderful, wonderful luncheon this afternoon where they honored mayor and council, and it was one of the nicest events I have been to in a very long time. It was just beautiful. Thank the college, Dr. Jacobs and Dr. Padron. What a wonderful, wonderful job they did along with their staff. Also, we'll speak very briefly with council afterwards for a few minutes about the chili cook-off. And I implore all of you to come on Saturday to the Florida City Shops Prime Outlets and come taste all of the chilies and vote for our chili. Okay? Are we clear on that? Okay, thank you so much. And I want to thank everyone of you for being here. Mr. Nelson, welcome again, and all of us look forward to working with you. Thank you very much, and this meeting is adjourned.